you own an oil company right now, you're probably doing fairly well. As the owner of an oil company, you're making a nice amount of money. Hopefully you have some planning for transition. Life isn't incredibly hard, but it is getting more and more complex. And frankly, you have to work harder because of competition. You're working harder and there's more pressure on you to maintain where you are right now. So the purpose of what we want to cover today is, frankly, you have a choice related to your profitability. We believe that there's a possible future that actually doesn't add to your workload, but it does generate more profits. And you do not need to do this. You absolutely don't need to do this, but what our intent for now is to leave you with an ability to make a decision. And that decision will be whether to leave well enough alone, stay the course you are, or possibly to look to improve things. All right, I'm going to jot down a few numbers that might have some relevance. So let me just write them down over here. We'll get back to them a little later. I'm not going to explain them right now, but there are some numbers that we really have to look at. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we want to look at a company, just as an example. We want to level set where we are right now. So we're going to use as an example a company that sells 10 million gallons a year and has 10,000 customers. It's a reference point. Obviously, some companies are bigger, many companies are smaller. You'll do your own math on that. But what we want to do is we want to take a look at the way that works right now. So within there, we have our year. And we're going to take it from July through the middle of the winter, all the way. So here's going to be a complete year. And obviously this curve we've all seen a million times. We're going to get back to that in a second. So pretty much what we have right now is here's this company that sells 10 million gallons a year. Let's go through the basic economics, your basic delivery economics. Number one, about 22% of all your deliveries are in the month of January. That's when the heating degree days hit. That's when you're delivering all of this oil. So over here, here's your peak. Everyone's peak is the same. Now, in order to deliver 2.2 million gallons, well, how are we doing that? Oh, good thing is there are 21, 22 business days in the month of January. So you're roughly doing 100,000 gallons per day. That's what you need to deliver. 100,000 times 22 is your 2.2 million gallons. Great, life is wonderful. So now what happens is that how am I delivering these 100,000 gallons a day? What does it take? The average truck delivers about 400 gallons 4,000 gallons a day. That's your typical truck. So if you have 100,000 gallons to deliver and you can do 4,000 gallons a truck, not really so hard, you're gonna have 25 trucks. You need 25 trucks to deliver 100,000 gallons in the month of January. And that's all we're looking at right now is your peak needs. By the way, as we all know, not every truck works every single day. Something's in the shop, something's broken down, something had, whatever the case may be, there's about a 15 to 20% variance. So let's just say you need 30 trucks. So part number one, if you have 30 trucks, you can deliver 100,000 gallons a day. If you're delivering 100,000 gallons a day, you can commit to your 2.2 million gallons in January, you can deliver 10 million gallons. This is where the industry is right now. As far as costs go, well, what does it cost? It costs you roughly $60,000 a year to have a truck. That's what it costs. That's the insurance, the maintenance, the basic stuff, the lease payments, the amortization. So if we have $60,000 times 30 trucks, it's $1.8 million. Again, these are your economics. In addition, someone has to drive the truck. Someone has to put fuel in the truck. Someone has to dispatch it. Roughly every time you dispatch a truck, it costs you $600. That's rough. And by the way, and this is one of the numbers here, this number 100, the average truck is on the road 100 days a year. They're all busy over here. Very few of them are busy here. You need 25, 30 trucks in January. June, July, 2, 3, 5 trucks, but you need them. The average truck is on the road 100 days a year. Each time you dispatch a truck, it costs you roughly $600. That equals $60,000 for a dispatched truck. Remember, we have 30 of them, so it's times 30, and it's the same $1.8 million. So in today's world, you're gonna spend, to deliver oil to 10,000 customers, $3.6 million. In terms of cost per gallon, it's 36 cents a gallon. That's another one of the numbers that we have here, so let's just check this one off as well. Okay, so now we've set the level. It costs you 36 cents a gallon to deliver a gallon of oil. You want to look at it as a 10 million gallon company, you're spending $3.6 million. You have to figure that out. So what I want to do now is I want to suspend reality for a little bit, only partially suspend reality. I want to talk a little bit of a wonderful fantasy world for our industry. So let's take a look here. Again, we have 10,000 customers. We are going to deliver 10 million gallons. We've already covered that. That doesn't change. But what I want to do is I really want to change reality a little bit. Why? It takes 30 trucks. It takes $3.6 million. Why? Well, we know it does. One of the things, and it's one of the numbers I have over here, is the average delivery into the average tank is about half a tank. Actually, across the entire spectrum, it's about 53%. That's one of the numbers that we have here. So when you're delivering into a 275 gallon tank, you're probably delivering 130, 140, 150 gallons, about half the tank. That's normally you're doing fine. Based upon what's out there, you're actually doing fine. But I want to take a look at it a little bit differently. Again, we're suspending reality for this part of the conversation. Let's just say you had these 10,000 customers, and let's just say that instead of having 275 gallon and 330 gallon and 550 gallon tanks, every single customer had a 1,000 gallon tank. And they all used 1,000 gallons a year. So just play with me for a second here. Each customer is going to get one delivery per year because they use 1,000 gallons. So if they're getting only one delivery per year, let's take a look at something here. Here's our July. Here's our January. Here's our June. It doesn't matter when they get a delivery. If they get a delivery in January, their next delivery is next January. If they get a delivery in August, their next delivery is the next August. September. You got a full year. So your delivery curve, which was this, here's your delivery curve. You're delivering the same amount every single month. So let's take a look at this for a second. If we're going to deliver every customer 1,000 gallons, and that's all of their gallons, they're each going to get one delivery per year. That's it. So now we're making 10,000 deliveries a year. 10,000 deliveries. Okay, great. 10,000 deliveries. How many business days do I have? Well, if I'm not working weekends, I have about 250 business days. So I really have to make 40 deliveries a day. That's all I need to make is 40 deliveries a day. I'm making this sound easier than it is in reality. So 40 deliveries a day. What do I know? Well, I know how fast trucks go. I know that oil comes out of a tank at 65 gallons out of a truck, 65 gallons per minute. I know all that stuff. So let's just say we'll be conservative and you're making just 2 stops per hour. That's all you're doing is you're pumping for 15 minutes, you're driving somewhere, you're pumping for 15 minutes, you're making 2 stops per hour of 1,000 gallons. So 2 stops per hour. Okay, so now I have to make 40 stops a day. I have to work 20 hours to deliver all of this oil. Okay, 20 hours, that's not so bad. But wait a second, I have 24 hours in a day. How about if I have 2 drivers? 2 drivers. Each of them is going to work a 10-hour shift. Yes, we're going to pay them a lot of money. And now, 2 drivers making 2 stops an hour, each working a 10-hour shift, can make 40 deliveries a day. And by the way, I only need 1 truck. So, in my fantasy world here, if I have 1 truck and it's making 2 stops per hour and it's working 2 10-hour shifts, we can deliver 10 million gallons with 1 truck, not 30 trucks. Now let's take a look at the costs here. 1 truck will not cost $60,000. There's going to be more maintenance, there's going to be more upkeep, etc. I'm going to call it a $120,000 truck. That's what it cost me for the year. Drivers, 10-hour shifts. It's really, really hard. It's not easy. Full-time, great, amazing men or women that are pulling these hoses and making these deliveries, they're not making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year. They're going to make, $115,000 each. Okay? 115 times 2 is $230,000. So now we have spent $350,000 and we've delivered 10 million gallons, which remember before we had spent 36 cents a gallon. I have it over there. This is 0.035 per gallon. Greater than a 90% savings. Wow, if we could only do that. So we've gone from today's reality, we've gone to this fantasy world. I do not believe, no one should believe that we're gonna go from 30 trucks down to 10. We're not gonna spend $3.6 million or 36 cents a gallon down to 3.5 cents a gallon. That is not what's gonna happen. So can we go from 30 to 1? No, it's not gonna happen. Can we go from 30 to 22? I mean, how low can we actually get this? It is possible to deliver all of these gallons. It absolutely is possible. And so now what I want to take a look at, and this will be kind of the last section here, is what changed? How were we able to go from 30 trucks down to 1? How were we able to go from 30 drivers down to 2? Where did the savings come from? If you can drive down the number of trucks that you need, and that's $60,000 a year that you spend just to have a truck that's mostly used in the middle of the winter, and sometimes in the fall and spring, and very little in the summer, and you could not need nearly as many drivers because there aren't so many dispatches. Forget the trucks. You don't have so many stops to make. So how do you accomplish that? Well, how am I driving down trucks? I am really accomplishing two things. My delivery size has gone up. Remember the 53% to the 1,000 gallons? I'm driving up my average delivery size, and I'm getting rid of the number of trucks. We've developed something, we call it ADEPT. What it does is it takes every individual customer and it optimizes it through a series of machine learning, artificial intelligence, algorithms. This is what we do. And it syncs directly into the back office system. So there's not a whole heck of a lot of work for you to do, but it takes over the planning stages for your deliveries. It drives costs down, but it doesn't do it secretively. It basically makes larger average deliveries and it slots around when those deliveries are made. So I want to take a look at these last couple of numbers so we can wrap this up. The average dealer right now, take home pay, full service, Northeast, is making about 20 cents a gallon. That's kind of your take home pay. It's, your numbers are not going to be dramatically different. Well, what happens is that 36-cent number, which we indeed cannot get down to 3.5 cents, we believe that we can get that 36-cent number down to somewhere between 24 and 26 cents a gallon. That's what it will cost you for your trucks, for your drivers, etc. We believe that we can save you 10 cents a gallon. That's where ADEPT goes at optimal. When it's up and running and doing what it's supposed to do, it can save 10 cents a gallon. You could look at it as a savings. We prefer to look at it as an increase. If you're going to go from 20 cents up 10 to 30 cents, that's a 50% increase. We believe that the structure that we have right now, again, how much of it is reality, how much is fancy, you have to see, but the premise behind ADEPT is that it's going to take what we know are the variables, manage them through an optimized integrated system, and basically end up with results that are going to dramatically improve your profits. It's your business, it's your decision to make. Simply you're in a position where you can keep your profits as they are, and they are probably fine, or you can make a decision to see if you can dramatically improve them with technology, with data, with a process that is available today. There's a lot to think about here. Some is very basic, and some will challenge the way that you've done business for decades. Because of our unique position of working with many companies in different areas, we have the opportunity to step back and analyze numbers in a different way than if we were just looking at industry benchmarks that tend to aggregate an average. This access to data leads to new ideas and new ways to solve problems. For those who have an understanding that technology can lead to a more profitable future and who have the ability and willingness to partner with us to achieve those additional profits, please reach out to me or to your Angus contact so we can discuss further.